Dona nobis pacem, pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis.
Committed to promoting peace and justice. We aspire to leave a legacy of hope for our children and future generations, and a blueprint for productive conflict resolution through education, diplomacy, action, and leadership by example. We have compassion for military personnel and all those affected by conflicts throughout the world, even as we ardently support efforts to end the war in Iraq. We have faith in our ability to make a difference. Since creating this mission statement in June, Generations for Peace has focused on acting locally to support national efforts toward peace and an end to the war. One of our main goals has been to encourage others to speak out against the war by creating a strong and visible pro-peace presence in our community. So you may have seen that we rally every Friday at Ridge and Hall. We're just trying to get people to know that you are patriotic if you speak out, and there is something that we really must speak out about. We also work to influence legislation. Over the summer, we wrote a lot of letters and had visits with our legislators to work with them on trying to not vote for funding to continue the war. And now we're sponsoring this event, our first big rally. And I briefly want to remind everybody about a few principles that we follow to have nonviolent actions. These are the principles to keep in mind. We will act calmly, fairly, and honestly with all people at all times. We will recognize that what we are opposed to is a system of violence and militarism. We are not opposed to individual members of the system. We will seek dialogue with those who may disagree with us and maintain a spirit of openness, friendliness, and respect toward all with whom we engage. And we will gather and act in a manner that reflects the peaceful world we choose to create. So thank you for coming here today. And I have a question for you. I want to hear your answer loud and clear. What do we want?
Peace!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Peace!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Peace!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you.
My name's Bill Lazarus, and I'm here to introduce Ellen Dreyfus, who is our rabbi at B'nai Yehuda Beth Shalom, a congregation just down 183rd in Homewood. Rabbi Dreyfus comes here to express, because out of her personal convictions and beliefs, and there's an old saying that 2 Jews, 3 opinions, so I'm quite certain it wouldn't represent the opinions of everybody in the congregation. But you know what? She has good company. You know, as a congregational rabbi, it's often hard to speak out on anything that might be divisive, so she's really showing some backbone for coming here. But as organizations, the rabbis really have taken some degree of leadership so that the Reform and the Reconstructionist and the renewal movements have spoken out against this war. May I add, this terrible, immoral war that now looks like it may explode into Iran and cross the Middle East and endanger our very lives in the near future.
Really happy to be here and to see all of you here. You know, I told a friend of mine the other day that I was going to be speaking at a rally against this bloody war, and he said, it won't do anything to change this president and vice president. I agreed, but I said, we still must do it because it might change us, teaching us that in order to do good, we must actively pursue peace. Your presence here today, my friends, testifies that you are pursuers of peace. May you go from strength to strength. May we all go from strength to strength as we shun evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it.
One who understands our country's bad behavior and our country's good behavior. With a history of slavery and freedom. One whose father served in the United States Navy. One whose brother was killed in Vietnam. Prophet Muhammad's words influenced the founding fathers and the Constitution of the United States of America. In his farewell address, he said, "Your blood, your property, and your honor are sacred before God." And I call you to remember that these words were spoken over 1,400 years ago. And today we hear these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are the words of Prophet Muhammad as well. Peace be upon him. The Prophet also said that God created nothing greater than reason. And reason is what is lacking in our war in Iraq.
Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom.
See Iraqi refugees there. The first poem is called Words of War. From Washington, out of drooling, cavernous mouths at the Pentagon and White House, words of war pour like bats from a cave, a terrifying blizzard. Who can resist them? Let the gatekeepers of our hearts beware, like rain in mountains, words fall and collect, filling creeks, raising rivers, threatening to burst levees and dams. We are reminded of the Wild West, a posse forming, or even a wilder South, Klansmen gathering for a lynching, mob justice. And still words continue to come. Who can see through them? Like a seventh plague they hatch, locusts, they devour our sky, quench our sun, threaten everything our heart's life depends on. You hear your cousin scream as leaves on one side of the tree catch fire. A flaming branch cracks and falls. Or a volcano. Out of its fiery belly, it spews dead bodies high into the air. Mothers and fathers, children and babies. Bodies pile on top of each other. You can still see the top of the pile of American soldiers, even as it approaches 3,000 feet above sea level. But in Iraq, the pile has entered the stratosphere. No one has measured it, and no one knows how high it will climb.